Hey, Mama, and welcome back to For Moms, a Safe Space. I'm your host, Simone, and I'm so glad you're here with me. Last week, we got real about post-baby body. I shared some honest truths about how our bodies change after having kids, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally too. We talked about that pressure to bounce back, those complicated feelings around self-image, and the importance of giving ourselves grace in every season of motherhood. Your body deserves compassion and not criticism. You gave birth to a human being. But today, we're going to turn our attention to something nearly every mom feels, but often struggles to name: the mental load of motherhood. It's that invisible checklist that's constantly running in the back of your mind, remembering everything for everyone, and sometimes forgetting your own needs. It's heavy, and it can wear you down, even when everything looks fine on the outside. So we're going to discuss what that mental load really is, and how it shows up in our daily lives, and what we can do to lighten it. So what is the mental load? The mental load isn't just doing all of the things. It's thinking about all the things. It's the invisible work that keeps running. The doctor's appointments, the snack schedules, the sizes of everyone's shoes, remembering that the school needs money for the school trip that's tomorrow, but the envelope was due yesterday. You are mentally juggling so many things that no one ever really sees. And when people say, "Why are you so tired?" you want to scream because they don't see the weight you're carrying in your head. And 9 times out of 10, it's because you do everything easy in their eyes. The way you manage and handle things, it looks easy. So you can't possibly be tired when you're managing so well. Now, I had a mom share a quick story with me, and I think it's going to resonate with a lot of my listeners. She said, "I sat in the car the other night after picking up groceries and just cried. Not because anything major happened, but because my husband texted, 'What's for dinner?' And it broke me. I had already made the list, done the shopping, picked up the kids, cleaned up their messes, and mentally planned the rest of the week. And in that moment, it just felt like no one saw how much I was holding, not even him. I was exhausted from having to be the one who knows everything, plans everything, tracks everything." Thank you for sharing. And I want to say one phrase in this story triggered me. And that's, "What's for dinner?" You see, growing up, our parents didn't tell us that when you become an adult, the running question every single day that you're going to ask is, "What's for dinner?" I cannot stand that phrase. I can't stand it. I hate the question. I hate having to figure it out. I'm so sick of figuring out what everyone's going to eat. There are some nights my sons will eat oatmeal or have a frozen waffle. And you know what? Your belly is full. A win is a win. A win is a win. There's some nights I'll just eat some pretzels and have a Pepsi and call it a day. And that's fine. Her story hits home because it shows that it's not about one moment. It's about how it all adds up. Oftentimes, when moms have reached their breaking point, it's something so minor that is said to them or done to them that makes them snap. And then they look crazy because the person who they've snapped on doesn't understand how something so minor, asking what's for dinner, could make you get so angry and snap out. But what you're missing is that it's the constant decision making. It's the remembering, the adjusting, the anticipating. It's the emotional weight of being the default parent, the household manager, the fixer, the planner. That is why you are so tired. And it's not because you're not strong, but it's because you were never meant to carry all of this alone. Here's the thing. Society tends to measure exhaustion by what we do physically. Now, I know I have some dad listeners out there, and I know I might trigger you with what I'm going to say, but what I am going to say is the truth. The fellas, yeah, they go to work. Yes, their work may be physically more demanding than us as moms, and we are not discrediting that. Not at all. However, dads, when you guys go to work, you clock in, you work your shift. When you clock out, and you are done. Your mind is not on what you're going to cook for dinner. Your mind is not on picking kids up from school. Your mind is not on what to do with the kids after school. Your mind is not on the fact that you have to register for summer camp. Your mind is not on the fact that you have to schedule appointments for your kids. Your mind is on, I clocked out, I'm going home to eat and put my feet up. Now flip it to mom. Moms, from the moment they wake up, they are working. When mom gets up, mom gets herself together, and then she has to get her little ones together. Dad, when you get up, you get yourself together, and you get yourself out of the house. And that's all you have to worry about. Mom has to get herself dressed, her kids dressed, especially if they're little ones and they can't dress themselves. Now, if they're older kids, that's a bit different. However, you may struggle with getting them to wake up on time. And then you leave the house and you do all your drop-offs. You may have to drop one off at daycare. You may have to drop one off at school. Maybe they go to different schools, so you're having to drive all around. Now it's summertime. Maybe you're dropping one off at daycare, or maybe you're dropping one off at summer camp. Okay, that's done. Now you have your commute into work. This is quiet time. This is alone time. But guess what? It's not really self-care because you're heading into work. Now you get to work, and what do? You clock in and you work. Now, when you get off of work, you clock out. You clock out of your paying job and clock into your non-paying job. So now you're running around picking everyone up. And if you're going to cook dinner and say you forgot to take the chicken out the night before, which is something I do, I forget, then you're like, you know what? I'm just going to stop at the market and pick up a pack of chicken because that's easier than waiting for chicken to thaw out. So then you go, you pick everyone up, and everyone goes to the market with you. And while you're in the market, they're asking for things, they're begging for things, and you know you're just in there for 5 things. And because they're constantly asking and begging, you forget one thing. So now you have to improvise when it comes to cooking because you forgot that one thing and you refuse to go back to the market, right? But dads, all the while, you are commuting home, you're listening to your music, you're scrolling through social media. You get home, either the meal is in progress or the meal is complete. You take your shower, you eat your meal, and what do? You go lay down. You go kick your feet up because you're exhausted from working your physically draining job, right? But mom has been working since she got up. Yeah, she clocked out, quote unquote, from her job that pays her, but she had to clock back into her other job that's non-paying. So technically, there's no clock out time. There's no real break. You are constantly thinking of things. Your brain is constantly going. Even when you are sitting still, even when you are laying down, it is a constant, never ending planning, managing, remembering, adjusting. Your mind is always racing. When you think about the story, Goldilocks and the Three Little Bears, Goldilocks said that Papa Bear's porridge was too hot. She said that Mama Bear's porridge was too cold. And she said Baby Bear's was just right. Now, I'm sure you've never thought of it in this way, because I didn't think of it in this way. Dad's porridge was too hot because Dad was served first. So if Mama Bear poured his porridge first and gave his bowl directly to him, it is going to be extremely hot. Now, Baby Bear's portion, he had to wait because Mama served Papa Bear first. So when Baby Bear got his portion, it was warm. It was just right. But now Mama Bear's was cold. And why is that? It was cold because she served herself last. And I'm sure, moms, that is something that we do. We cook the meal, we make everyone's plate. By the time everyone's midway through their plate, we're finally starting on our plate. And sometimes we have to reheat ours because we were doing other things. Maybe we were cleaning up. We didn't want to have to worry about the dishes after we finished eating. So we cleaned up after we fixed everyone's plate. And then by the time you're ready to eat your plate, you have to reheat it in the microwave because now it's kind of cooled down because it's been sitting. And right there is where the burnout starts to build. It builds quietly and slowly until you don't even realize how far it's gone. And that kind of exhaustion looks different. You forget small things constantly and blame yourself. I do it all the time. I'll say, I'm going to this store and these are the items that I need. And I will go to that store and I will get 4 out of the 5 items that I need. But I have now picked up 3 items that were not on my list. And then I get home and I'm unpacking everything and I'm like, ugh, the whole reason why I went was to get this. I can't believe I forgot. You dread to start everyday tasks that used to feel easy. I hate laundry. Hate it with a passion. I would rather clean my entire kitchen from the ceiling to the floor than do laundry. I don't know why, just hate it. You feel angry or frustrated, but you don't even know why. You know how people say, oh, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed? That happens to moms because you are becoming so overwhelmed that now you don't know how to express yourself. So now it comes off as angry. You're upset, you're mad, someone did something to you. And it's not even that. It's just you're so overwhelmed and you don't know how to handle your emotions. So then it shows as anger or frustration when that's not it at all. And then sometimes you can be so far gone that you mentally check out, but then you feel guilty for not being present. My one girlfriend texted me. She said, girlfriend, I just want to run away. I just want to run away. I'm tired. I'm burnt out. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overstimulated. Yes, all the above. I can't tell you how many times I've thought about running away. I can't tell you how many times I have been in the car by myself and thought to just keep driving and never look back. I can't tell you how many times I've thought that because I just feel so overwhelmed and so overstimulated. And I'm like, I need to get away. I need to be away. I don't want to be around anyone. And I love my children. I love my man. But sometimes I don't want to be around them. I want to run away. I want to go be by myself. And I know a lot of moms have had those thoughts. I had another girlfriend say to me, I woke up more tired than when I went to bed. My body had rested, but my brain never shut off. I literally dreamed about my to-do list. I woke up at 2 a.m. remembering I forgot to sign a paper for school. And it feels like my mind is full all the time that even sleeping feels like work. How many of us lay down to go to bed, but in your mind, you're like, tomorrow I need to remember to make a dentist appointment. Tomorrow I need to remember to make a checkup appointment. Tomorrow I need to go to the market because I want to make steak for dinner. So I need to get steak and I need to get sides. We don't have any more paper towels, so I need to go to the store and buy paper towels. We also need dishwasher pods, so I have to go to the store and get dishwasher pods. Oh, I think we're running low on cereal. We need to get cereal too. How many of us do that? How many of us do that? This burnout isn't just from doing too much. It's from never being able to fully rest. And perhaps the worst part of it all is that it's invisible. And no one sees it unless something falls apart. Unless you finally break down. You cancel plans or you snap at someone. Generally, it's when you snap out. And then people look at you like you're crazy because it's like, wait, why are you acting like this? I didn't do anything to you, but they don't realize that it is a buildup. And there are multiple things that have occurred that has led to you finally snapping out. And then they ask, are you okay? But at this point, you've already been not okay for a while. And let's be honest, when you're the default parent or the go-to for everything, it feels like there's no space to say, I need help or I'm overwhelmed. So instead, what do? We keep going. And that's how so many moms end up running on empty. But understand, your exhaustion, it's valid. It's not because you're weak. It's because you've been holding too much for too long. So what happens when the burnout takes a toll? Emotionally, physically, relationally. I had another girlfriend send me a story over. And she says that she was just sitting on the couch, she's staring at her phone, and was feeling completely wiped out. My kids were running around and my husband was playing a game on his phone. And I felt invisible, like I didn't even matter. He didn't ask about my day. He didn't notice how exhausted I was. I didn't want to snap, but I was so close. And finally, I just yelled out, I'm drowning over here. Why does it always feel like I'm the only one who notices everything? And he didn't get it. He just said, well, I do other things around here. And in that moment, I lost it. I realized that I've been carrying all the mental work and he didn't even know it. Now, this moment is all too familiar. The way a partner's simple comment can make everything feel like it's too much to bear. But the truth is, when you're holding the mental load, you start to feel unseen, unappreciated, and often like you're just alone in it all. I have seen so many moms post on TikTok saying, I'm a married single mom. And from a man's point of view, it's going to be like, what do you mean you're single? They're going to think like relationship-wise, you're single. No. You are married. You have a husband. Your husband is supposed to be your partner. Yet you feel like a single mom because you handle everything. You handle everything. So what happens when you feel like you're carrying everything on your own? It's not just about the task. It's about feeling emotionally disconnected. Feeling like you've given everything and yet your partner doesn't even realize how much you're doing behind the scenes. Even when we do everything, sometimes the mental work is invisible. And when it's invisible, it's easy to overlook, take for granted, or even miss. So how can we combat this mental load? The first thing I want you to know is the change is not going to happen overnight. And you shouldn't expect to fix everything in one go. Because just like when you have to admit that you have a problem with substance abuse or alcohol or whatever the case may be, the first step is admitting. So in this case, you have to name it. You are not crazy. You are not overwhelmed for no reason. There's a reason you're tired. And there's a reason your brain feels like it's on overdrive. The mental load exists, and calling it out gives you the power to share it with those around you. Talk to your partner. I feel like I've been carrying everything all by myself, and I need you to understand what's happening in my head. You might be surprised how much more support you get once you make it clear that what you're doing goes far beyond the physical task. Delegate and ask for help. One way to lighten the load is by delegating. And I don't mean just asking for help here and there, but giving responsibility, actually taking a step back and allowing your partner to take over certain tasks fully. But that means not hovering. And I'm guilty of that. I will ask the father of my children to help me out with the little one at night. But then I'm kind of hovering over him because I feel like he's not doing it the way that I would do it. Like the way I like to change his diaper, the pajamas that I want to put on him. And I have to say to myself, go lay down. Just go lay down. Let him handle it. Go lay down. But also, don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty for asking for help. And don't have this mindset like they should just know. Because clear communication is key. They may not understand the depth of what you're managing if you don't speak up. Setting boundaries. And you don't just set them for your kids or for your partner, you set them for yourself as well. Because my favorite line, you cannot pour from an empty cup. And if you're running on empty, it's time to acknowledge that. Start small. Maybe it's saying no to something you don't really want to do. Or maybe it's carving out a few minutes a day where you don't have to answer to anyone, not even your kids. That 10-minute shower or cup of coffee without interruptions can make a difference in the world for you. I know one mom shared that she started saying no to one extra request each week, whether it was an invitation to a play date or agreeing to help organize the school event. She had to realize that her yes to herself mattered just as much as her yes to others. And that's heavy. That's heavy. Support. You have to have a good support system. Reach out to someone you trust. Sometimes just venting or hearing someone else say, I totally get it, can relieve you of so much of that pressure you've been carrying. Me and my one girlfriend, we have this thing where we text each other, quick mom vent. I need a mom vent. And then we go on saying, what's going on, what's happening. She texted me the other day and she said that she snapped out on her kids. And it was more or less her one child, but the other child got caught in a crossfire. And I said, it's okay, because I snapped out too. We're in this together. I snapped out too. My little one was in the car and I was in traffic and I'm just trying to get to my doctor's appointment. I have to bring both my kids to my doctor's appointment with me. And I'm in traffic and my little one's in the back seat. Mama, fries, donut. driving me crazy. It was like Stewie on Family Guy. Mom, mommy, mama. And back then, I thought it was hilarious. It was literally my ringtone for my mom back in the day. And now, as a mommy, oh my God, drives me crazy. So I snap. Stop calling me. Stop calling my name. I will feed you. Relax. It's so easy to feel as if you're alone in this journey, but the truth is we're all navigating it together in some way. Do not feel guilty for needing time to recharge. It's easy to feel like self-care is a luxury you don't deserve or something you have earned, but self-care is very much necessary. It's a way to refill your cup so that you can continue to show up for your family. And it doesn't have to mean you go for a spa day. You could simply sit down with a book for 15 minutes. Take a walk by yourself. Watch a show you love without interruptions. It's about finding moments to just be you again, with the hats of mom, partner, and caregiver off. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to take a moment and reflect on where you're at. Maybe you're feeling the weight of everything, or maybe you're just beginning to realize how much you've been holding. Either way, you deserve to take a deep breath and remember that it's okay to take things one step at a time. So I have some affirmations that I want to leave you with. I am worthy of rest and support. It's okay to ask for help. I do not have to do it all alone. My mental load is valid, and I have the power to change how I carry it. I am allowed to prioritize myself and my well-being. Take those affirmations. Sit with them. Tell yourself these things, because I know I will. I'm going to continue to tell myself these things, and I'm not going to feel guilty for needing time away from everyone in my household. Before we go, I have a few questions that I want you to sit with. What parts of your mental load are you carrying that you haven't acknowledged? Is there something you've been putting off asking for help with that will make a big difference in how you feel? What's one small boundary you can set this week to give yourself more space to breathe? And finally, what would it feel like to give yourself permission to rest, even if it's just for 10 minutes? At some point over the weekend, during this week, I want you to take a moment to think about these questions and give yourself grace. And know that this journey is not easy. But I want you to know you are not alone. And it's no shame in needing support or in slowing down. You are not alone. You're not alone in this. And if today's episode resonated with you, head over to my Instagram page for Moms a Safe Space and share your thoughts. Let's keep this conversation going. Thank you for listening and for being a part of this space where we can share, grow, and empower each other. Until next time, take care of yourself and know that you're doing an amazing job, one step at a time.